Hello, you lovely lot. Welcome to today's online masterclass with Enterprise Nation. Thank you very much for joining us this lunchtime. Great to have you with us. We're joined today by Simon Jacobson. Simon is joining us from Bing, who were a very proud supporter of our Go Global trade mission to New York. And actually, I hear from people who are on the mission, have the most snazzy office in Times Square. I was sad to miss out on that. One of the supporters of our trade mission earlier this year. One of the 5 small business trips that we've done actually around the world this year. And there's more in the pipeline for next year, 2017. If you're keen to register your interest or suggest locations as well, if you want to chuck some of those into the mix, you can head to en.enterprisenation.com/go global. For now, though, we're going to be stealing Simon's expertise on how to reach overseas customers online. And then we'll be taking some questions. So if you've got any questions that you want to ask Simon this lunchtime, do type them in the box and we'll be very happy to pass them on. For now, though, over to you, Simon.
Thanks very much. Hi, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining me for this webinar. Today, the topic is why search marketing is crucial if your business is looking to expand overseas. Now, I'm a believer that search marketing is a crucial tool to all businesses in most sectors. And for the benefit of today, what we're going to try and do is just focus on creating that opportunity for your business overseas and how I believe you can achieve your cross-border business goals with the help and investment of search marketing. For those of you who are new to search marketing, search is essentially the platform by which you advertise against or sponsor searches on a search engine and in search engine environments. It's a highly performance-based channel to advertise on and actually accounts for the bulk of online ad spend in the Western world. And it's rising by just a touch under 20% year over year, according to the Internet Advertising Bureau. If you're listening today, I'll try and bridge my narrative some way between a core understanding of search and for the more advanced search marketing folk among you, bring in some areas worth thinking about when you're looking to go global. Just checking a slide transition here. Right, there we go. That's my not so lovely face. Why search marketing is crucial if your business is expanding overseas. By way of an introduction, my name is Simon Jacobson. I'm the UK small and mid-sized business lead for Microsoft Search Advertising, also known as Bing Ads. I work across our sales, support and services organisations to ensure that our advertisers and our prospective advertisers get what they need to achieve their business goals with Bing Ads. A quick word on Bing Ads for those of you who don't know about Bing. With investment, so Bing is obviously a search engine, and we are Microsoft owned and run, and Bing Ads, with our investments in our infrastructure and with things like Windows 10 adoption taking off globally, as well as some carefully selected syndication partnerships that we have around the world, such as with Yahoo and with AOL, Bing has grown exponentially over the last few years. In the UK, Bing accounts for just over 20% of all UK search queries, and we see that as a more efficient cost per click than other search platforms. The focus of this webinar is on cross-border, so it's worth mentioning the US as a key market for us as a platform. One of the reasons that we found it so fruitful to sponsor Enterprise Nation's Go Global mission to New York earlier on this year. The Bing market share in the US is over 30% of search queries at a greatly efficient cost for an advertiser. So here at Microsoft, we're passionate about helping our advertisers achieve more through search advertising, and we believe that by helping businesses expand overseas into new geographies, using search advertising is a tried and tested way to achieve business growth. Before I begin, I'm delighted to have been asked by our partners at Enterprise Nation to speak on this topic, and I hope you find it useful. A bit about me and my background. For the past 12, 13 years, it's search. So I'm a huge search geek, from running search programs for advertisers of all sizes on both the agency and direct merchant sides, as well as supporting more advanced advertisers on the management and automation tool side of search. I now talk to advertisers and prospective advertisers in my role here at Microsoft in the SMB world, like yourselves, hopefully, on the benefits of achieving their objectives through search. So today, my talk on search marketing and how crucial it is to expand overseas. I split this challenge into what you may think is quite daunting if you're new to search or new to expanding overseas, especially via search, into sort of 5 digestible areas, which I'm going to walk through today. One is getting ready for your audience. Two is looking like a local. The third one is the importance of mobile. The fourth one is more of a generic kind of marketing understanding of the marketplace that you're looking to go into, which is around seasonality. And finally, features that make life much easier when trying to solve this business challenge for yourselves. The first tip is around the audience. Be ready for your audience, understand the size of your potential customers in a country that you're looking to export into. With search, it's easy to get caught in a world of keyword first thinking, because that's ultimately how people search. A keyword is a proxy of intent. With cross-border, you knowing your local audience, so that's maybe you're in the UK and you're targeting UK users or buyers as a matter of course. How users abroad respond to different messaging is only one segment of the audience that you should understand. How they respond to action, messaging, and how they take action off the back of it. Think about the wider components of your audience opportunity and think about the things that your business is ready for today, such as, if you're in the UK, the English language is a commonality. So perhaps you advertise in the UK, maybe think about the US, Canada, Australia, the other English language countries to roll out in a more kind of patterned effect. When you think about new audiences, think about how you want to connect with them. Try and understand them as people, not just keywords. Try and connect them to their end action. So know what action you're trying to decipher from each person who sees your messaging. Where possible, leverage technology. You are busy people in your day-to-day lives. You don't have necessarily the time to run different exclusive programs on every single territory that you're operating in. With the resources today, that tends to be how I speak to small, medium-sized businesses and their challenges. So try and leverage automated technology where possible, and we can help you with that. Use tools that intelligently predict what they want next, like planning tools. And I'm going to walk you through some of those that are free to use and really, really valuable. And be present and accessible to the audience wherever they are, and think about the types of device that they use. The first question, and this is quite related to Bing Ads as a product, where's my audience? So understand the country that you might look to leverage an opportunity to target customers in. Where's the demand and across what devices, as just mentioned before? What's the level of demand for my products, and what else might those people be looking for? You might have a product suite, let's simplify it. You might have a product suite of 10 products. But only 5 are relevant overseas. That's kind of what you want to get into before you launch overseas or take your campaigns overseas with search marketing. So once you know the product or service that you're selling, you have an idea of what expansion looks like, but search is almost like a validation, and planning tools are the perfect validation to find that out. Bing Ads have a free planning tool, or if you go to the website that I put there at the bottom of the screen, and the presentation will be shared afterwards, there are a number of tools. Just navigate on that site to the Insights section and then go to Planning Tools. There's plenty of tools there to help you find out what the size of your audience is, what the demographic makeup is, high-level industries, and more granular industry classification. So really handy, and my kind of key giveaway there is to use those before you jump into a key investment in another marketplace. As I talk to users about the audience, it's important to know that people are everywhere. We see 45% of from a unique user perspective, 45% of a country use a particular search engine. Half of another country uses a search engine. That 5% is a vast number, and every market acts differently. And with those markets acting differently, and with the audiences in each market acting differently, it's important to understand your audience's intent and profile. So we produce something called a buying power index, which shows the likelihood of a user or a searcher going to one platform in one country, purchasing versus another platform in the same country. And that buying power index is really evidence that not every audience is created equally. Not every platform is considered as actionable for every business type as the last. Not every buyer is sophisticated as the last. I guess really the key point I'm making here is that one size doesn't fit all. Understand what your business is like in that particular market, and the products that you're selling, and how much your message resonates with that audience. It's all about testing and learning. Test the platform, test the audience, get a taste of the value, and then expand your investment in that marketplace. My next tip around going global is to look like a local. This is a familiarity builds trust, and this is about credibility and perception. This might be the most time-consuming tip that I'm going to give to you today. But this will help you succeed in a more measured manner than just throwing an investment into one marketplace. When it comes to thinking locally in connection with your overseas audience, the first one, as we mentioned before, is around looking for the similarities. Now, I mentioned before about common languages, but by understanding your target audience, their interests and their purchasing behavior, using some of those tools that I mentioned before, you'll have a really good grounding as to where might the opportunity be for you. The second one is about local payment options and thinking about the preferred options from country to country. Some are prepay, some are postpay, some prefer credit card, just like in the UK. So your business needs to be flexible in a secondary market or a third marketplace to accept a range of payment methods. The third one and fourth pillar here are around looking like and talking like a local. So looking like a local, trust is vital, especially if you run an e-commerce or you're planning on running an e-commerce business. And it's the keystone to building trust across borders through localization of things like grammar as well as in the checkout. I'll take the small example of zip code being a UK terminology, but in Canada and in the UK it's a postcode. So there are some things that may be small nuances, but really if we're talking about perception and credibility, those are the things that you should look to get correct. Talking like a local, whilst we talk about the English language, there are a number of different markets that prefer to talk in mother tongue, and for that translation you must get that investment right in order to prove value from things like search marketing at the driving to site. I've heard a really cost-effective tip around hiring local students as a first step to test for some of the businesses that we work with. That might be a good way, or connecting with influencers in the marketplace that you're looking to move into, should that not be an English language or a different culture entirely to the UK. My next point is around creating relevant content for local searchers. So with Bing search campaigns can be an example here, but the key tips really are around localizing the message to the audience that you want to tap into. Use a local domain to prove that your investment is on a local level, and again, building credibility with your users over there. Listing your business address. In some markets, this is mandatory. In other markets, this is optional. I would definitely partner with the right authority or understand whether you are required to do that by law in the marketplace that you wish to enter into. Local currency is again around credibility, and again with payment methods, offering that in a local market will allow the users of your site or your online property to take you for the most credible set possible. And finally, local delivery, logistics and costs. And when I talk about this being a time-consuming element, this is really the research-heavy part of your cross-border journey. that will help you to deliver and make an investment on the marketing side that's more credible and allows your users to take the necessary action. My third tip is around going mobile and understanding mobile search's key role through the consumer decision journey and how that differs across different marketplaces. Now, I'm sure if you've been to other seminars or sat in on webinars and listened to people talk about digital platforms, you'll hear so much about the growth of mobile, and for many years it was, and this year is the year of mobile, and the years of mobile, we should say, kind of came and they're here. Today there's 3 billion, well, this is a figure from last year. I'll try and get these updated when we share the presentation with Enterprise Nation and with you all. 3 billion smartphone users checking their phones multiple times a day. Purchases through mobile phones, around confidence in being able to do that. A rise in searches and the share of searches that happens on a mobile and tablet device. And of course, the amount of mobile ad spend is proof of the credibility and performance of mobile within the search marketing area. There's an immediacy element with mobile. When you're on your mobile, the vast majority of conversions or actions taken will be within a short space of time or within a very small vicinity, so local. And we talk about conversions as the action you wish your user to take based on a search query. So that might be a call or a store visit or even a purchase. But notice the immediacy on mobile and desktop and get your message right for that. If your mobile is not ready to sell to today, perhaps bring a click to call or a drive to local store option in there instead, just so that you can capture and understand your return on investment there. For us here at Bing, mobile queries make up about 1/3 of search volume, and that's growing. That's a staggered growth year over year, and into into this current 2016, we're seeing similar growth as well. So expect that to continue as users tend to use mobiles more and more. My fourth tip today. This is, as I mentioned earlier, this is a tip for all marketers, not just search marketers, but the seasonality in your market versus the seasonality of the market you're looking to go into may differ. For many markets, they are similar with nuances, and I'm going to talk through one or two of those. But as the phrase goes, failing to plan is planning to fail. So with seasonality, and we'll use a retailer as an example here, so that's someone in e-commerce looking to sell their products abroad. Riding the peaks of the seasonality and capturing some demand is something that's true of your local market, but even more important if you're looking to expand overseas. Christmas is a really good example of when shoppers begin and end. Use the tools to find out that I mentioned earlier to find out when that is relevant in the market you're looking to go into. There's a really good example around the US in Black Friday ramping up slightly earlier than the UK, and that could change where you decide to invest if you're a retailer and that season is key for you. In China, another thing, Singles Day happens around about the same time as Thanksgiving. So that's also another nuance to consider if that's a market that you're looking to discover into. Incorporating holiday into your marketing strategy. If you've got, this is again just a generic kind of seasonal calendar of areas that you would wish to make small investments around or dial up your investment if you are a search marketer. And the beauty of search marketing is understanding someone's intent is immediate. If someone feels the necessity and they believe in the message that you promote is relevant to them, they will click on your ad, which is a direct validation of your message in that marketplace. My final tip is taking it down a level to the features. So to make this usable for you, I'm going to showcase just one or two things that are worth thinking about as you look to go global. The first one is if you're a retailer taking shopping campaigns. So this is a visual aspect of a search engine listing. We see typically a 45% greater click-through rate than text ads for shopping campaigns. The next one is remarketing, getting a second chance to talk to your customers. So if a visitor leaves your website or abandons your shopping cart, remarketing is your opportunity to take them and resell to them. Perhaps it's a special offer you want to give. Perhaps you feel like a product is too expensive. Ad extensions, so extending your core listing, bringing in locations, using click-to-call extensions. All of these are really, really valid and appropriate resources for you to use when using search to expand when using search marketing to expand into different marketplaces. I feel like I've spoken a lot today, and I'm going to kind of wrap up just now, just with a revisit of those 5 tips to reach more customers around the globe. Get ready for the audience, understand the size and potential of those customers, use the tools. I emphasize use those tools to look like a local, understand that familiarity will help you build trust. Go mobile and understand the importance of mobile in the markets that you're looking to go into, and understand the seasonality nuances around the market that you're going into versus the market that you know. And finally, there's features, not just the features that I presented today. We've got hundreds and thousands of features which will help you to meet your business goals. And what I'd like to offer you today is an exclusive £100 totally free ad coupon. If you want to get started on Bing Ads, you want to try Bing Ads for your overseas efforts, drop us an email at this email address here, bingforsuccess@microsoft.com, before the turn of the year, and we'll give you a £100, reference to the Enterprise Nation webinar, and we'll give you a £100 free ad coupon. Don't delay. If you're not ready to advertise, perhaps till the new year, but you still want to use the tools and get yourself set up, drop us an email. We'll get you set up, and you're free to start advertising whenever suits you and whenever you're confident that your business is ready to take on the next market challenge. And with that, I'll wrap up and open myself up to questions, and just say to everybody listening, good luck and thanks for joining this webinar today.
Amazing, Simon. Thank you so much. I feel like we should have a bit of a round of applause there. It was a good roundup. So much information stuffed into that. It's brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing it all with us, and lovely, really great to work through those points as well. It was brilliant, really, really helpful. If you have got a question, let's make the most of Simon being here. Please send in your questions. We would love to pass them on. Elizabeth has been in touch. We're going to fire straight into it, Simon, if that's all right. In terms of restrictions, you were talking about local markets. Somewhere like China, restrictions on the internet, are there any tips that you might have around that? We've just recently done one of our other Go Global missions to Hong Kong and China, and it was a great success. And we're just, wondering in markets like that if you had any tips on any of that at all.
So China or the Asia Pacific marketplace, there are a number of key tips to, from a customer friendly tips and the network sizes and things like that. What I'd probably do for a specific marketplace is I would encourage, did you say that was Elizabeth?
Yes,
I would encourage
indeed.
Elizabeth to get in touch with us via Bing for Success and give us that specific business challenge. What we have, I'm the UK lead, but we also have leads for each of our markets globally. And China, I have a specific point of contact in the China marketplace who can help you in that specific market. So I would encourage you to get directly in touch with us.
That's great. That's brilliant. Thank you so much, and thanks very much to Elizabeth for her question. That's great. Simon, what do you find is the most challenging thing for small businesses? If you had to choose the biggest barrier to entry in all of this stuff, what would you say it is?
The confession of mine is that the vast majority of business want to move into the US as a first step, and I think for some businesses it's the challenge of actually replicating your offering into the US and understanding the marketplace is one size of the challenge, but getting towards fulfillment and taxes and that kind of stuff, that's where the research early on pays off. relaxing import duties into the US, that's kind of helped advertisers to over the past year or so, helped advertisers to sell higher ticket items into the US. So there are a number of avenues to open up. I guess the biggest challenge really is understanding from a logistics point of view if your product can be sold in a particular marketplace, because what we have is within the tools that I mentioned earlier is a really good gauge of what the audience looks like and what demand looks like, but that's really only one half of the problem, or the challenge, I should say. So the second challenge is all about fulfillment and making sure that you can deliver against the marketplace that you want to expand into.
That's great. Thank you so much for that. That's brilliant. That's really super helpful. So we've had a question from Joe. I'm going to pass that on. If you've got a question, we've got a few more minutes. Do please send it in, and we will pass it on to Simon. Joe's asking specifically around B2B businesses, what your top tips for B2B businesses are, exporting services abroad. Do you work often with B2B business services, or is that sort of an area that you guys come across? Have you got any sort of insight on that for us at all?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Joe. Thanks for bringing that up. I think when it comes to search engines, there is no specific business-to-business search marketplace. The search engine there are blurred lines between search engines being consumer and business, and the reason being is that we use our search engine of choice when we're at work, on the go, when we're at home. There's no specific business persona. So the challenge is my audience there? So business to businesses, absolutely. We see a number of software businesses. I mean, I can't go through them specifically, but we see a number of business solutions and lead generation solutions that use search marketing to great effect in other marketplaces. For Joe, if the challenge is understanding whether there is a demand for the business in another marketplace, I would encourage you to use some of the planning tools around that. But also understand, and I'm kind of moving towards being specific here, but Bing or Windows 10 has been a real growth catalyst for Bing searches, because it's built into Windows 10. Within the fabric of Windows 10, so there's a bar at the bottom of your screen where you can search directly in Bing. Now, 400 million devices run Windows 10, but they haven't really been rolled out, well, they've only just started being rolled out to the enterprise. So Microsoft has got a bold ambition of reaching 1 billion devices by the end of 2018, and with that, you could find the marketplace being quite business to business centric, or certainly during working hours, and that's because of the persona that would use a search engine at a place of business during working hours. That's just one kind of one school of thought, really. But the planning tools will tell you by vertical what the opportunity is in the particular marketplace that you're looking to go into for a particular keyword as well. Bing Ads Intelligence is another free tool that at the keyword level for a marketplace will give you an idea of volume and demand.
Simon, thank you so much. What a load of knowledge in half an hour. We're so grateful for you sharing it. Thank you. And also, just a heads up for next week, everybody, fundamentals of DIY SEO. That is the topic for next week's masterclass. A big thank you again, though, to Simon and to all your questions today. Simon from Bing, proud supporters of our Go Global trade mission to New York. And as I did say at the beginning of our masterclass today, register your interest. We've got loads more of them happening in the new year, 2017. Can you believe it? enterprisenation.com/go global. You can register your interest, and also we're looking any suggestions. Where do you want to go? Let us know. We're going to try and make these things happen, so do get in touch with us on there. Simon, big thanks, and many thanks to everyone else for joining us. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday.